1 month to this very day and we're going all in at Wembley Stadium for the second year in a row. We know that 4 matches are set for the show, but simply based off the fact that 2 of the 4 AEW pay-per-views so far in 2024 have had 12 matches, and last year at Wembley we saw 11 matches with 2 of those being on the 0-hour show. I reckon we could be adding somewhere in the region of 8 matches over the next 4 weeks. Let's try and predict all 8 of them and fail miserably, so you can call me names in the comments down below. Kicking things off with 0 Hour, and I'm predicting that AEW will tell people in London when the thing actually starts this year, so we don't miss Grado making another shoot appearance. Outside of that, I think we're going to see the Patriarchy defending those newly won trios titles against the House of Black, which is a match, I concede, that might be in some doubt due to the injury news surrounding Killswitch this week. However, Kip Sabian was attacked by the Patriarchy and was then stood in the background of one of their backstage shots on Collision, and then he was mocked by Nick Wade on Dynamite. And of course, his dad is dead, lol. Haha! So he can take the place of Killswitch if the Triceptosaurus injury he's dealing with hasn't healed in time. The House of Black have been threatening Cage and his famalam for a little while now, so this match is one of the safe predictions on this very video for the card, I reckon. Also on 0 Hour, I'm predicting Chris Jericho with bruised titties, of course, after that slappy match with Minoru Suzuki on Dynamite, which was fantastic. But Jericho taking on Hook for the FTW Championship, where not only Hook will win because he has to, but amongst his celebrations, Samoa Joe will make his big return, I reckon, after being killed through that cardboard wall a couple of weeks ago, which will in turn set up some kind of Chris Jericho can't escape affair with the Samoan submission machine at All Out, which is 2 weeks after All In. All Out, All In, All Out. This is where Joe will shake Chris all about, and all of us watching at home will do the hokey cokey. And now, in no particular order, let's go to the main card matches, starting with a feud ender between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. I was going to call this one some kind of Stadium Stampede singles match, because we're at Wembley Stadium, didn't you know? But that would just be some kind of no DQ, falls count anywhere thing, wouldn't it? So I don't need the fancy name. The 2 lasses in question have had 3 televised matches against each other so far in AEW, with Willow 2-1 in the lead. However, with Chris and Stokely costing Willow in the final of the Own against Mariah May, and with a CMLL World Women's Champion Eliminator next week on Dynamite, where I'm sure Chris will win to set up this match at Wembley, surely Willow needs to have one more chance to batter the pair of them for their crimes while defending her newly won title. It's got to happen, hasn't it? Next up, I feel the need to have some form of conglomeration versus Undisputed Kingdom match on the card after their interactions over recent times, and the most likely match, in my opinion, is a trios match with no stakes on the line, but the names included are just not going to be left off the card, are they? Tony Khan's literal favourite wrestler. He said this with his own mouth, I'm sure. Orange Cassidy is not going to be left off Wembley, is he? He was there last year, he'll be there this year. So he'll be joined by Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe to take on Roddy Strong, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. It feels weird making this match when you see a couple of the names that I couldn't fit into my predictions for the card. At the very end of this video, I'll go through all the big names I've missed off, and you can laugh at me, but I expect to see either Orange and Pal stand tall, or maybe Kyle turn baddie and finally get back together with Roddy, so Orange is left with egg on his orange. Next up, we have the most fanciful prediction of this very video, but when Pac appeared on television a few weeks ago and said, "I won't be robbed of me Wembley moment this year, Bonnie lad." I don't know about you at home, but I believe him, and that's despite the fact Tony Khan is trying to rob the man, because Pac, remember, is the #1 contender for the international title, but he's not getting the title match at Wembley. You bastard, Tony Khan. So, to get Pac on the card, I think AEW really are believing in hologram, just based off how the promotion went ahead of his debut match and how his debut match was presented against Gringo Loco on Collision last weekend. A match, by the way, which Hologram absolutely nailed. So I can see Pac taking on Hologram with Single H getting some kind of Pac rub in defeat. Or maybe the pair of them could face a mystery opponent who was revealed to be Ricochet, because I feel of all the people who left WWE dating all the way back to 2019 and the very start of AEW, Ricochet Ricochet is the best fit for AEW. So let's go for it. Let's get our balls out, why don't we? Pac versus Hologram versus Ricochet in a big old dirty wrestle wank. Or maybe Pac just gets Ricochet in a dream singles match. Both very nice. Now, surely TK won't be taking two lots of number one contenders and not giving them the title matches they have earned at Wembley. Pac, he might not be getting his, but surely the Acclaimed, who earned their tag team title shot by winning wrestling matches, they will be getting their shot at the Young Bucks' tag team titles at Wembley Stadium, especially after Anthony Bowens was murdered through 4 tables by Nick Jackson during Blood and Guts to stick more fuel and blood and wood on this particular fire. However, there are 2 cats in amongst these pigeons, and they're called FTR because FTR, they of course directly called out the Young Bucks on Collision, and the chance to run back that one from last year seems too good to turn down, especially since there shouldn't, and I say that with bated breath, there shouldn't be any extracurricular controversies blighting any FTR match at Wembley this year. So surely this means a triple threat tag team wrestle wank, yes, I'm coining that phrase again, is the way to go here. Now, to peel the curtain back slightly, I had written most of this video before Blood and Guts had even taken place, so I just want to pat myself on the arse for predicting a breakup of sorts between Hangman Adam Page and Kazuchika Okada, which sets up a Continental title match between the pair at All In. Now, after a little bit of pushing and a buckshot lariat gone wrong, surely it's got to happen, and it might even have a stipulation attached, because currently Hangman Adam Page is a mad bastard. And I'm going to go big with this one because as a result prediction for this predicted match, which hasn't been made official as of me sat here right now, I'm going to say Hangman Adam Page loses because he's going to get involved in that main event match and maybe cost Swerve Strickland setting up a fight till the death at All Out, which is 2 weeks after All In. It's not what I want to happen, it's what I think will happen, but it's also what I want to happen. Now, I did not see Mercedes Moné getting a heater like Camille, but a heater like Camille she certainly has, so the deck is fully stacked against Britt Baker at All In. Before last night's Dynamite, I was thinking there might be a chance of Hikaru Shida getting herself into the TBS title match, but with Baker getting the win and the post-match attack being done to just her basically, I'm going for a singles match where Mercedes has got a lot to live up to, considering she promised to leave the former Women's World Champion Britt Baker with something worse than the stroke that she suffered IRL. Whatever happens in this match, I'm just hoping that England's own Jamie Hayter returns to smack somebody really hard because it's been too long. But Camille is the wild card in the match, and it's going to be interesting to see what she does. So outside of those predicted matches, we have MAGA JF versus Will Ospreay for the newly minted American title, Darby Allin versus Jack Perry for the TNT title after Matt Jackson didn't want to see the scapegoat set on fire at the end of Blood and Guts, and then we have the 2 world title matches between Swerve and Danielson and Toni Storm and Mariah May to round off my predicted 12-match card. This means, and I don't want to say this out loud, but I feel like I've got to, this means I haven't found room for the remaining members of the BCC, the Lucha Bros, any members of the Bang Bang Gang, the remaining members of the Don Callis family, which includes Mr. Takeshita, which is a massive shame, Saraya, Hikaru Shida, Thunder Rosa, Deonna Purrazzo. You need to go down to those comments and tell me how much of a tit I am for leaving those people off this massive card. I've been Ross Tweddell from Cultaholic Wrestling, and after making a video like this, that's why I drink.